Do you sense things? The Watcher hasn't forgotten.
Lifetime welcomes you to a live presentation of the National Women's Soccer League.
3 weeks from today, the NWSL champion will be crowned here in Orlando, Florida. Today's visitors, Portland, have already clinched a playoff berth. Now, if Orlando wins, they'll punch their tickets to the playoffs today. And the pursuit of winning a championship on their home field continues.
In the Pride's last regular season home game, Alex Morgan and Ashlyn Harris put their leadership skills to the test and fight to secure a playoff berth, keeping their dream alive to return home to the Orlando faithful and play for an NWSL championship. But they're facing Christine Sinclair and a dangerous Portland Thorns team that secured home field advantage in the postseason and now have their sights set on finishing with the best record in the league. It's the NWSL on Lifetime. The Pride versus the Thorns, live.
We are back from the international break, and it's the penultimate game of the NWSL regular season, and it's all to play for. The Pride win, and they clinch a playoff spot. The Thorns are in pursuit of the NWSL Shield, looking to repeat as regular season champions. Take a look at the standings. Carolina and Portland still up top. Chicago, if they win, same situation as Orlando, they are in. Seattle, the last team that could make the playoffs. They need to win and need the teams above them to falter. These two teams we're going to watch today met on the opening day of the season. 2-0 win for Portland, but Marta, she wasn't there, and she's been fantastic. Second in league in goals with 12, tied for second in assists with 6. The Brazilian did play 180 minutes over in Australian friendlies. We'll see how the 31-year-old bounces back. And Lindsey Horan, she's been on a roll for club and country, scoring and assisting in the last friendly U.S. win 5-0 over New Zealand. And she's also started every game for Portland this year. These two teams, folks, are the hottest in the league, and they have just been unbelievable as of late, particularly Alex Morgan. She has scored 9 goals in her last 9 games in a Pride uniform. They are 5-0-1 in their last 6. Portland 5-1-0, and you see them outscoring and dominating their opponents. Hey everybody, great to be back here. Dallin Cuff alongside 2-time Olympic gold medalist and 2-time World Cup bronze medalist. I don't want to leave that out, Allie Wagner. Now, Allie, there's just so much going on right now. You got a shield race up top. You have 3 teams vying for 2 spots, and we're coming off international break here. What interests you most right now?
I don't know that it's the shield race. I think it's about the last 2 teams that find their way into the playoffs, and I would argue that Chicago probably has the easiest path there. Yes, they're away from home this week, but they're playing a Houston team that hasn't impressed this season, and they're going to be without Lloyd again today. So I think they have the clearest path, but I'm glad that we have this matchup
Absolutely.
today. This is the one that gets me excited because you have the most potent offense with Orlando facing off against the stingiest defense with Portland in terms of goals allowed per game. And so it's going to be fun to see who wins this battle.
And as you mentioned, Orlando plays at North Carolina next week, which could be a shield game that they're going for. They can't leave this on the line. Tom Sermanni knows they need to win today. They lead the league in goals, 42 scored, but they were struggling up until about 8 weeks ago. They were outside the playoff picture. They now find themselves in 4th. Offensively, how have they got it done?
Well, what's interesting about Orlando is how they've navigated this time. They stuck with their game plan, the style that they wanted to play. And when I watch soccer, there's moments that I can hear music, and this is one of those plays. There was even more possession before we started this clip. But you look at how they're patient. Marta checks off that line on the far side of Bogagu's pressing up top. They switch the point of attack. Okay, Bogagu's looking behind. Nope, she's not going to go. She's going to pull off that back line now. And the team has to worry about that. They have to defend that space. And guess what happens? Alex Morgan intelligently reestablishes that pressure on the back line. And then you just see her ability, her burst to get in behind, blows by the defender, and then that far post, the perfect ball laid across. The far post is covered by Rachel Hill. And Dallin, in terms of how they're getting it done, it's not just in the possession, it's in their defensive work. It's in how they press and force turnovers in their attacking third, as they did in this situation. They just pounced, force the turnover, and then Marta jumps out of that midfield gap, late run in the middle, and then she's going to not miss from there. The question for Orlando, in my mind, is can they stop the other teams from scoring? Their biggest weakness has been on these services in the box, and especially in those late moments in the match.
And Mark Parsons mentioned that. He thinks that they are vulnerable there. They will try to attack. Portland will. Now, let's talk about Portland's attack. About, let's say, 3 months into the season, let's be honest, they were a rough wash offensively, and Parsons would admit that, but they changed the system up, and now they've scored in 10 straight games. What are they doing different offensively?
Well, credit to Mark Parsons for actually making the adjustment. They're playing more direct. We've said it time and time again, and part of that is Sinclair pulling off into midfield. But the other massive piece of this is Haley Rasso. I don't talk about her enough. She doesn't get the due credit. She has 5 goals, 4 assists. And it's not always going to be the prettiest effort. It's not always going to be the perfect, cleanest touch, the cleanest finish. But it's that pace to get in behind and force defenses time and time again on their heels.
She also played 2 friendlies in Australia, appearing in both games against Brazil. We'll see how she bounces back. Speaking of bouncing back, Ashlyn Harris back in goal for the Pride. She missed over 10 games this year with an injury. She is a fierce competitor. Got her back on the field, but she feels her purpose in life is way beyond what happens between these white lines.
Dear Fresh Pet, I was in the Air Force and got seriously hurt. It was the worst time in my life, until I met Tank. You really could say he's a rescue dog. So when he got heavy and his energy slumped, it was my turn to be there for him. That's when I found Fresh Pet. He seemed to love it, and sure enough, he got down to his ideal weight. Fresh Pet put the puppy back in my dog and gave me back my best friend.
It's a massive game in the National Women's Soccer League.
Sinclair!
We need to make it to the finals and we need to win.
Where's that with the left?
I am inspired by the thought of fulfilling this dream.
Balls for Mewis! Oh, and it sneaks in!
The NWSL championship, it's up for grabs.
No team wants to go down without a fight.
We're back in Orlando, Florida, folks. Orlando City Stadium, where the NWSL Championship will be battled out here in just 3 weeks from today. And the tickets are on sale right now. That's $20 a pop. Game is at 4:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Pacific. Of course, here on Lifetime. For more information, log on to nwslchampionship.com. Now, we're coming off a international break, and Alex Morgan with the U.S. team has been just as amazing as she's been wearing the Orlando colors. 5-0 win for the U.S., and here's Morgan getting an easy goal. Kiwi poor defense, and now Morgan adding an assist in this game. Great finish by Mallory Pugh. Morgan ended up scoring 3 goals over the course of the 2 games, and that moved her to 7th all-time in the U.S. women's national team list with 77 goals. Now, here's more with Allie Wagner, who's with Alex.
Alex, you seem to be in peak form. 9 goals, 3 assists, your last 11 games here in the NWSL. And then just this past week with the U.S., you netted 3 more. I know you said you're feeling good, but what do you think has been the biggest change for you in return to form?
I don't know. I guess if I knew the answer, I would always be in form. But I guess some of the Portland girls trying to throw me off on the field. But I don't know. I just feel good. I feel like it's clicking right now with both Orlando and with the national team. I think I'm focusing on the right things at the right time. I'm focusing, on my finishing in and around the box, mostly in the box, because that's right now I think where 100% of my goals have been scored in the NWSL so far this year. And then just trying to be positive, just kind of trusting the process with the national team has helped me have a better outlook for this last camp specifically. So I guess it's just kind of being able to have that fluid transition between club and national team.
Awesome. Well, good luck today picking up those points, secure the playoff spot. Good luck.
Thank you.
And now let's go see what the third member of our crew has for us today. Jen Hildreth.
Thanks, Allie. I want to talk a little bit about Orlando goalkeeper Ashlyn Harris, who's been back between the pipes for the last 5 matches after missing 11 games due to injury. She is such a tremendous leader, captain for this Orlando team, but has also had a profound impact on the community. If you look at Ashlyn's Twitter feed, you'll see the request from a 4-year-old going into brain surgery who wanted Ashlyn in that hospital with her. There was a wonderful story in the Orlando Sentinel that started with the account of a woman who came up to Ashlyn, complete stranger, and said, "You saved my life." Stories like this are not uncommon for this fierce competitor who wears her heart on her sleeve.
I hate to lose more than I like to win. And that is what gets me up out of bed every day to compete and to strive for greatness and to win championships. I don't settle. That's what makes me me. And being sidelined for so long this season, it hasn't been easy. Soccer, is a lot of who I am. And when you take that big chunk out of your life, it kind of feels a little empty. What kept me grinding every day was knowing that my moment would come when my team needed me, where we were trying to clinch a playoff, or we were in playoff, and we needed to come up with results. So I just continued to put my head down. It wasn't even a question for me. I knew I was doing it for the team, I was doing it for the city, and I want to win this thing. It's easy for me to create a connection with the fans here because this is my hometown. I share my scars. Like, if I'm not going through a good time, I'm okay to talk about it. I'm okay to have my fans come in and tell me the same thing. I'm a support system for them, just like they're a support system for me. When I get off the field and I have someone who comes up to me and says, "You've saved my life," or "For so long I've been different and I didn't fit in," it's good to just have little moments of interaction and connection with these people and just show them that I'm not untouchable. I'm just like them. I struggle just like them. I think they gravitate towards that, and I think they find that inspiring. And if I can help people in a way that being different is beautiful, I just think I want to play that role for them, because I tell them every single day I'm different. I love being different. I thrive being different, and it's okay. I think we get this platform and we have a choice, right? We can choose to use it in a good way. It's like we all struggle. We all go through a hard time. That's life, that's living. So at least let's do it together. That's my message. Let's rely on each other a little bit more. Lean on other people. We need each other. This is how the world works. And soccer is my platform to create change. And if I can use my platform to talk about these hard conversations, then I'm doing my job. This is what I was born to do, is bring people together for a bigger cause. And if I can create change while I'm here and leave this game better than when I started, I will be very happy when I retire. I'll be very happy when I leave this earth. Those are the most important things to me.
Well, on the field, Ashlyn Harris said the push toward the playoffs helped push her through her injury. A win, and the Orlando Pride make history by going to the NWSL postseason for the first time. Allie and I will have the starting lineups when we come back.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome to Orlando City Stadium. Will we have any heroes on the field here today. No doubt we will have warriors as the Orlando Pride are fighting for a spot in the NWSL playoffs. The Portland Thorns still in contention for the regular season crown. Starting lineup for the Orlando Pride, Allie, shows that all those internationals for Tom Sermanni are back in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, they know they got to push for the result today. They're going with their 4-3-3, but Camilla comes into the lineup in the midfield as opposed to being in that outside back position, which means Kristen Edmonds is back healthy and getting the start in that right back slot. But obviously the eyes up top on Marta, Alex Morgan, that partnership and how it's been evolving throughout the course of the season.
Both of these teams were really playing well down the stretch going into the international break. For Mark Parsons and the Portland Thorns, Amandine Henry, the only international he left out of the starting 11.
Yeah, and that makes sense if she needed a little bit of a break, but I think the biggest beneficiary of that is going to be Allie Long because she gets to move back into her preferred midfield spot, and Ashley Sykes slides into the lineup on that right side of midfield. Haley Raza has been a nuisance getting in behind, and Sinclair has been doing wonderful in the pocket below her. We'll see how that plays out today.
Little rain that we had, about an hour ago here at Orlando City Stadium. Cooled things off a little bit. 79 degrees our temperature at kickoff with some clouds in the skies. Christopher Spivey is our referee for this second meeting of the season between the Thorns and the Pride, although the first one took place in week 1. Christine Sinclair was there for that one for Portland, but there was no Marta, no Morgan.
No, and what is interesting about Sinclair is that she has 8 goals and 0 assists. For as integral she's been in the build-up play for Portland in that midfield spot now, she has 0 assists to her name, and that surprises me.
And you talked about, when we looked at the lineups, Camilla moving a little further up in the field. You like this move for her? She's been on the back line, too.
You know, she's helpful wherever she is on the field because she's so good on the ball. But, yes, when she's in midfield, she draws a lot of attention to herself, and she's got that capability of beating the lines, which then creates those overloads and gives Morgan and Marta more time and space.
Ashlyn Harris just had a feature on her in our pregame show. Hope you had a chance to catch that. She makes her 6th straight start after missing 11 matches with that quadricep strain. So she will be ruling the goal with the wall behind her here at Orlando City Stadium. And if you are a fan of women's soccer and the National Women's Soccer League, this is the match you want to be watching. These two teams right in the thick of it. Portland already in. They will be hosting a semifinal match. Orlando, one of 3 teams fighting for those last 2 spots, along with Chicago and Seattle.
And you know they want to get the result today and put that playoff spot up on the shelf so they can rest, prepare, and start to focus on that postseason matchups.
Yeah, while we know North Carolina and Portland have solidified the top 2 spots in some order, the rest of the seeding still to be determined. Takeaway there from Lindsey Horan, another player who's really been in form both for club and country.
Fantastic outing this past week with the U.S. team against New Zealand. Had the goal and the assist for the 2 go-ahead goals for the U.S. in that second matchup.
Like Orlando trying to sneak in behind there through Alex Morgan. Sykes kept it in, but gave it right to Marta. Brazilians and the Australians facing off during that international break in Australia. I asked Tom Sermanni if they were all getting along, and he said, I'm just happy they all got back safely. Here's Camilla. Megan Klingenberg taking it away. Mangus back in the starting lineup. Had a little pressure though from Obogagu that time, who has it now. Obogagu took the shot, had it blocked. Tight window to work through. Lindsey Horan still down on the ground in the middle of the field. Might be able to hear some of the field mics trying to alert the referee that she had been hit in the head. Alex Morgan, her U.S. national team teammate, immediately over to check on her.
And I didn't get a good look at what happened in the flow of play on this And here we have it, just Danny Weatherholt. Looks like her elbow may have catched her hand when they both rose up to win that first ball. But in the buildup for that attack by Orlando, it was Portland that was trying to play out of pressure. Orlando wasn't pressing in too high, but it was a sloppy touch by Mangus that Ubogagu jumped on, and that's what locked Portland in their defensive third initially. It's something to keep an eye on, this initial line of pressure from Orlando, and where does it start?
Horan back up on her feet. Certainly hope she'll be all right. No, Mark Parsons feels the same. When we talked to him this week, he specifically mentioned how well Lindsey Horan had been playing, saying he felt both she and Alex Morgan perhaps the two most informed players in the league at the moment.
I think that's absolutely a fair statement. I know he credited Sinclair's drop back into midfield for being responsible for Horan's ascension throughout league play, but I think with the U.S. team, that confidence is carried over, and she's making more of an imprint on matches, trying to beat lines, trying to take players on, and not just solve it with playing out of pressure, as Portland always tries to do.
Horan back on the field, but the ball back at the feet of the Pride. Allie Krieger, one of the key additions to this Orlando team this season, coming over in a big offseason trade. Catley, Australian national team member, gets it to Weatherholt. Camilla nearly stretched her foot out for it. Marta. Ubogagu's shot is high.
And already the glimpses of Marta dancing on it, and then a little bit of a narrow attack there by Portland, all players within the width of the 6-yard box, but Ubogagu had no pressure, so why not unleash one?
Didn't test Adriana Franch on that shot. She's been fantastic this year for Portland. Tied the NWSL single season record with her 10th shutout of the season in the Thorns' last match, a win at Boston. And you mentioned it in the pregame show, Allie, but in this, of the many tantalizing things of this matchup, we have the league's best offense in Orlando and one of the stingiest defenses in Portland, ranking second with just 19 goals allowed on the season.
But in terms of goals allowed per game, they are the stingiest, which I think is fascinating.
North Carolina sitting above them overall, but I love that distinction. Very good point.
And credit to the consistency. Yes, keeping players healthy counts, but they've been pretty consistent in that back line and with Franch in goal.
It's really been a word for both of these teams, having good consistency. Krieger trying to find Marta. Marta, 12 goals on the season, sends it across, but right into the arms of Franch.
We talked about bringing Krieger into this side. It was for her defensive ability, but that was her springing Marta with that ball over the top on that left flank. Good distribution out of the back by Allie.
Here's Alana Kennedy, another Australian, who's playing, by the way, got hit on the tarmac by a food truck. Little delay, but they made it back. Catley service in, trying to find Morgan. Never discount those acrobatic moves, finding their way to the back of the net for Alex Morgan, the way she's playing right now. Here's Nadia Nadim. Finds a good opening on the far side. That's Haley Rasso. A lot of speed for the Australian. Wanted to connect that time. Nobody home.
And that last attack is a great look at how quickly Portland can get forward, but also that Orlando leaves themselves susceptible on the break.
Rasso on it on the turnover. Rasso's left-footed shot is blocked. Monaco is there defensively for the Pride. America, traveled all the way to Australia for those 2 friendlies between Brazil and the Aussies. Didn't wind up playing though, so just had to recover from the travel. Kennedy knows capable of that big switch, finds Catley. Marta stretches out but can't get there. Allie, is there anything that you've noticed with this Orlando team and the run that they have been on, unbeaten in their last 7, that has really raised their level of play?
You know, I think in terms of their fluidity, their ability, their connection to play out of pressure, that moment there is not a good example of it. But you're seeing some chemistry evolve and how they're recognizing to get in behind quickly.
Morgan has it here. Alex Morgan, a little bump to keep control, gets it to Marta.
And then when to slow it down and use their tempo to break a team down. And here's a look at Alex Morgan just going 1v2 and keeping possession for her team. But that is a clear picture at how you defend against someone like Alex Morgan. You get pressure, you get cover, you get numbers around the ball.
Tom Sermani, whose team has a chance to make history, clinch their first ever playoff berth with a win today. Both Orlando and Chicago in that scenario. If they win one of their final 2 matches, they will claim the final 2 spots in the playoffs. Seattle has to win both of their matches, and they'll need a little help. And these Orlando and Chicago teams not getting full points. Our NWSL game of the week in the penultimate week of the regular season here from Orlando City Stadium. Jen Hildreth, 2-time Olympic gold medalist Allie Wagner, Dallin Cuff, our entire Lifetime crew. Excited for this matchup. Although we weren't quite sure what the first few minutes might look like. Mark Parsons even telling us, look, with all the players away on international duty for both teams, 7 for Portland, 6 for Orlando, it could either be a snooze fest, as he said, the first 20 minutes, or a goal fest. I think we were kind of hoping for the latter. But it might take these teams a little bit while to regain their chemistry. At the most, they really only had 1 full day of training together.
You know, I wouldn't worry about the chemistry piece too much. I think these players now have had a full season to get comfortable with each other, and most of them played when they were, you know, away on international break. So don't expect them to miss too much of a beat.
More just gauging how everybody is physically.
Exactly. And that comes down to the individual minutes that were played and the individual wear and tear on the body that these players have experienced throughout the course of the season.
Weatherhold didn't get rid of it quick enough. Portland pounced. Sinclair, though, had it taken right away. Marta looking for Morgan. Alex Morgan gets in behind the defense, hits the ball, but French makes the save.
Such a good idea there between Marta and Alex Morgan. And Morgan trying to catch French off her line. The ball was bouncing up for her, so she tried to have that volley and chip it over.
Klingenberg gets it central to Long. Reynolds' ball is intercepted by Krieger. Marta comes away with it. I don't think there's a more deadly combination in the league than Marta and Alex Morgan. 12 goals for Marta, tied for second in the league with Megan Rapinoe. Alex Morgan, 9 goals, 3 assists, all 9 of those coming in her last 9 matches for Orlando. She has 12 goals in her last 11 matches combined for both club and country.
Yeah, and considering that she wasn't here for the beginning part of the season.
And was hurt.
So impressive.
Was with Lyon and winning the Champions League title, and then had the injury to recover from. But we talked to her a couple times this week. You talked to her before the game, and she seems very genuine in talking about how meaningful this is and how important it is right now as this Orlando team makes its push for the playoffs.
Yeah, there was genuine excitement about the organization and the group of players that she has here. She feels it's an unfounded or unprecedented commitment to this league and to this team. So something special they're brewing here.
And Morgan has won championships before, obviously won World Cup titles, Olympic titles, WPS title with Marta, back with the Western New York Flash.
And here's just a look at Marta and Morgan. No pressure on the ball, so the back line was dropping, but even though they're dropping, Alex Morgan is that much faster and is splitting the center back. So when we talked to her this week, she said, look, I think there is space for me between those two center backs in special moments just like that. And then again, a great idea to try to catch French off her line. Just didn't quite come off.
Morgan, the NWSL Player of the Month for August. Sonnet, play it back to French.
And a pretty high line of initiation in terms of defensive pressure for Orlando right now. Weatherholt stepping up on Horan. They don't want her to play make in that center midfield role. We'll see if they can win it in these pockets or Portland can play out.
Mangus and Klingenberg trying to get out of pressure. Instead, it's out of bounds. Mangus missed the last match with Portland due to the unfortunate passing away of her brother, who's just 19 years old. Her brother Bobby passing away from cancer. So no, she's playing with a bit of a heavy heart, but has been such an integral component of this defense for Portland the last couple of years.
And one of the unsung heroes on that back line.
Now it's Rasso trying to sneak in behind, but Ashlyn Harris beat her to it.
And Jen, you said it rained here before the kickoff, and you can see some of these final passes are skipping through. They're being overplayed. You have to take that into consideration as a player before you even start the match. Know your conditions.
Free kick coming here for Orlando. Adriana French, first all-time in the NWSL in terms of goals against average for her career. Driven ball into the area, flicked initially. Weatherholt takes a shot, has it blocked. Camilla nearly kept it for herself, but credit the Portland defense.
And here's Camilla on that ball that was played out. She picks it up, splits two defenders. It's that covering behind by Nadia Nadim, the unexpected defender in that situation who comes across.
Now it'll be the first corner kick of the match for Orlando. Pride have scored 3 goals off of corners this season. That ball far post, won by Sinclair. Now cleared by the Thorns and Rasso. One of the interesting things found in the OptaStats packet this week was first half scoring and lack of scoring for these two teams. Orlando scored 17 goals in the first half on the season. That's tied for second in the league. Portland has allowed just 10. It's tied for the second fewest. Back heel from Marta, making it look pretty as Camilla is taken out.
I mean, that's going to be the reoccurring theme today, Jen. It's Orlando knows how to find the back of the net, and Portland knows how to stop teams from doing that. And we're just going to get a good look at who wins this battle.
Our referee, just a few moments ago, after this collision, pulling out the yellow card for Allie Long, but it came out late. Possibly a little bit of the dissent from Long after the fact might have contributed to the yellow.
And that's what Camilla will do, though, force those fouls. She's running in behind. Allie Long just catches her late.
So Allie Krieger will line it up on this side of the field now.
And on the previous attempt from the other side, Alex Morgan was left wide open. No one tracked her even on the second ball.
Krieger's ball hanging, falling. Now the shot again blocked. Weatherholt can't get a clear look at it. Camilla. Her ball on the ground, out of the air. It's Kennedy, just missing.
And Orlando's having some looks from outside the 18. That first ball is way out, and then Kennedy lines one up. Franch is an excellent shot stopper, so from that distance, it's going to be hard to beat her.
Klingenberg and Nadim quickly the other way, but the offside flag is up. Boy, I think about Franch on that last attempt. You have to really trust your positioning to pull your hands back, as she did as she was diving for that one, realizing it was not going to be on target.
And talk about positioning in this little counterattack. Orlando just steps Nadia offside.
Kristen Edmonds back in the starting lineup, one of those players who Tom Sermani felt benefited from the international break, able to get healthy. She'd been dealing a little bit of an injury. Kennedy. Now out to Edmonds. Marta switched over to the near side. And she'll get the ball now. Marta. Trying to set up Morgan.
And even in that last attack for Orlando, you're getting a good look at Morgan pulling off that back line. She did it twice just to set play, and you can see Orlando slowly creep down the field and earn some field positioning.
Sinclair all the way back through to Emily Sonnet. Trying to find an opening up the middle, but Allie Krieger read it well. Obogagu gets it from Marta, touches it away. I've seen the Pride right here in this area, in this part of the field, quite a lot. They just haven't gotten that final ball through.
It's getting too narrow, and it's making it easy on Portland. You could see in that last picture, all of Portland's sitting back, 11 players within the width of the 6-yard box, and Orlando was there as well. They've got to get some players pulling out wide to open up some gaps inside if you do want to attack centrally. Otherwise, I say get around the edge.
Klingenberg, good work here. Pride still looking for a way to unlock this Portland defense. Obogagu on the outside. And she'll earn the corner kick. A little bit what you just talked about, Allie, using the width. Obogagu with great speed out there.
And that's one way to get those services into the box, or at least create some gaps. Nonetheless, one of the attacking weapons for Orlando is their pace on the flank, so they've got to take advantage of it as they did there.
Adriana Franch, excellent in the air. We'll see Camilla Tester. She plays it short initially. We'll get it back. Camilla now into the area. The shot is blocked again. Wouldn't must have seen 4 or 5 blocks already. Now, many of them have been outside the area. That one, though, Camilla got herself pretty good position.
And just a simple little 2 players taking on 2 on the corner kick. They've done that time and time again. You know it's coming, but sometimes the best offense beats the best defense, especially with the back heel from Marta. And we'll get a good look at it here. There's Camilla driving in at the edge of the box, and maybe that's where you pick your head up and you find someone. You don't shoot from that angle. But perhaps she saw something we didn't.
Possession largely in favor of the Pride so far in this match. Ubogagoo, lovely bit of work. That ball may fall through for Morgan. French got there. Marta has it. Knew the goalkeeper was down. Could not get her shot off in time. But it's back to Camilla. Camilla and French will grab it and hang on to it for a settling moment.
One of the things French had to be wary of is the space in behind. They know that Orlando likes to take advantage of it. In this case, it's Ubogagoo just beating 2 players, and then it's not a perfect final ball, but French is off her line quickly to come snuff out that trouble. Just waves of attack right now from Orlando.
Possession 61% in favor of the Pride so far in this match.
And they are first in the league in terms of passing completion percentage. And it's not just safe passes you see from them.
Ubogagoo will get to this ball. Wait for some help. Gets it central for Morgan. I don't think anybody's going to mind her pulling the trigger, even though that one went high. Well, this is the second to last week of the regular season in the National Women's Soccer League. Tonight it is Washington and Boston at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Houston, and the Chicago Red Stars, who have a chance to earn their playoff spot with a win. Sunday, Sky Blue FC and the league leaders, North Carolina Courage, taking on the league's leading goal scorer, Sam Kerr. And then later that 9 o'clock Eastern time, Seattle and FC Kansas City, the Reign, needing to win and make a push to get themselves into the playoffs. So we'll have that match on Wednesday between Houston and North Carolina. That'll be in Edinburgh, Texas. That one rescheduled from earlier this season due to Hurricane Harvey. And you wonder how that could affect the Courage, or what type of strategy Paul Riley will use to get through that now, as his team has to play an extra match. So they'll play this weekend, Wednesday, and then next Saturday as well.
You know, if I was coach, I would just look past that game and act like the midweek game isn't happening for my starters, for my key players, and focus on the rhythm of game on the weekend, game on the weekend.
And wouldn't it be nice for North Carolina if they could go into that one knowing they had everything cleaned up? They can clinch the Shield with a win, as let's see what happens here with Rasso. A ton of speed, does catch up to the ball. Now she needs some runners. Haran will provide that for her. Haran crossing over to Nadim, settles, and that will go out of bounds. So just to clarify what I was saying, for North Carolina, they can clinch the Shield, the regular season title, with a win and a loss or a draw here today by Portland.
Yeah, but Jen, the important question is, do you want to get the Shield? Because no one who's won the Shield has won the ultimate trophy at the end of your playoff scenario.
Very true. Here's Christine Sinclair. Ran into Edmonds. Now out to Klingenberg, the assist leader for this Portland Thorns team. Nadim. Portland, good little sustained bit of pressure here. Ashley Sykes trying to keep it going. Ubogagoo really had nowhere to go. They ran into a trio of Portland defenders, Haran amongst them. Now she's looking for options.
And That's where experience will pay off for Bogagu to recognize that she has no help, to spin out and bring some other players in the attack to join in.
Klingenberg, plenty of space. Waited and waited, but Nadim not on the same page. Now you see the pressure from the Thorns, keeping it in this end of the field, something Orlando had been doing much of the match so far. Klingenberg hits it to her right foot. Across it goes.
Such a good ball by Ali Long, out to Klingenberg.
Here comes Marta. Sees Abogagu. Alex Morgan trying to hold up her run centrally, but Abogagu couldn't hang on to it. Menges takes it away defensively, and Klingenberg says, "You make the run this time." I need to catch my breath a little.
How about that defensive work by Emily Menges there to stop Abogagu? She didn't have cover on that outside, so Bogu was trying to get there. Menges read it well.
Catherine Reynolds now back central as the Thorns try to figure out exactly how they want to piece together this attack. Sykes. Back to Sonnet, who sees Nadim on the far side. Offside, however.
And even though this doesn't come off, that's the right ball by Emily Sonnet. Orlando's been squeezing the game, holding that high line, and Portland's been playing underneath, allowing them to hold the high line. Well, in that case, trying to spring in behind is the right thing to soften them up.
Saw Emily Sonnet's family in the hotel this morning. They're in town, along with her twin sister, ready to cheer her on. Had their Sonnet jerseys out and ready to go. Over her shoulder, wanting to get it to Morgan.
And such a lovely little pocket for Kennedy to sit in and for Ali Krieger to recognize and play her into that right space.
Rare mistouch there from Sinclair, gave it back to Orlando. It's going to wind up here with Alex Morgan. Camilla gets the ball into a dangerous space. It's going to stay in. Enough bend on that ball to stay in bounds for Marta. And now there's a whistle for offside. And there you see Emma Sonnet, Emily's twin sister, wearing her sister's jersey. Family coming down from the Atlanta area.
Emma and Emily, I'm guessing the mom and dad just only wanted to teach E's and M's when they're learning their letters.
Keep it simple. Will we see either of these two teams in the NWSL Championship match? It'll be right here at Orlando City Stadium on October 14th. Portland already knows they have a shot at it. They're in the playoffs. Haran coming through from the midfield, touches it out to Nadim. The Danish international has it on her left foot. And that's an easy grab for Harris.
And Nadim's got to do better in that position. Very little pressure runners coming in. Not sure why she tries to go near post there, pull that ball back out.
Nadim fresh off a World Cup qualifier for Denmark against Hungary on September 19th. She played 83 minutes, scored a PK, and the win for her national team.
Nice to see that they did in fact take the field. They're in disputes with their federation over pay and support.
When you hope even more so that means a step in the right direction for what they're actually trying to fight for.
Considering how well they did in the Euros, it's hard to believe that support wouldn't be there, but I never cease to be surprised.
Denmark making it all the way to the final of the Euros. We're losing to the Netherlands. Bogagu. Combination just not quite there that time. Grasso does give that option to get in behind that Orlando back line. Portland's just not been able to pick her out yet.
No, the timing's been off. When she's been on, they haven't played it. In that situation, it wasn't on. Allie Krieger did a nice job reading it.
Here comes Catley. Lays it off for Morgan. The shot! France saves it, but spills it, and her defense has to pick it up. Where is that far side runner following the ball for Orlando? You normally see French hang on to so many shots that come her way. That one, a lot of pace from Morgan.
Well, I think it caught everyone off guard. Morgan was outside the box. That's when you know a striker's feeling it. But Bogagu wasn't even close enough to pick up that rebound. Fortunate for Portland.
I think if you're Orlando, you've got to be thinking right now. I mean, Marta obviously is always an option, but as you said, you can sense Alex Morgan feeling it, not only in the way she's playing, but in the way she has played, both with the U.S. and with this Orlando team the last few.
Yeah, I mean, just keep feeding her the ball, but I think she's done a nice job in the build-up play as well. It's not just about looking for her strike.
Morgan is off to the races here. Question is she on? The answer is no. Let's take a look at that previous shot from Morgan.
And Catley's one of the providers for this Orlando team, even though she's the outside back. And that ball's just swerving away from France. She does well to get down. And then on this offside, I don't know. From that angle, hard to call, but I saw that whole thing developing, and I thought she looked to be onside. She was running along the restraining line very astutely and then just cut in once the ball was released. Might be a fortunate call there for Portland.
Haran trying to work a combination with Nadim. Meanwhile, France had come out to take that free kick. She's still well outside the area, trusting her offense to keep possession down on this end of the field. Grasso will earn the corner. First of the match for the Portland Thorns.
No surprise that it comes from Grasso earning it. She's really been the danger player for them, even though they haven't created much in this first 37 minutes.
It'll be Megan Klingenberg to take it.
And pick your poison on who you mark up. Haran's a threat, Sinclair's a threat, Long can be good in the air. Emily Sonnet had those goals the other weekend on these corner kicks.
Klingenberg with 6 assists leads the team. 3 of those have come from the corner. It is headed down to Nadim's feet. That first touch, though, got away from her. She'll get it back. Nadim turns, gets it through. The flag is indeed up, as you would assume. Allie Long finding herself a little too wide open.
Well, she has the most offside for Portland because she was playing up front these past few weeks, but in this situation, it's just on the resurface. And we'll get a look at it here as Orlando steps out, as they should. You want to push Portland out of your own box, and then Allie Long, far side, someone else was offside as well.
There is still a player down, Camilla, for Orlando. As Ashlyn Harris will just put her foot on the ball. Our referee, Christopher Spivey, coming to check it out.
And Long just goes right through the back of Camilla. She's sitting on a yellow already, so she has to be careful.
Long ball up ahead. Menges a little unsure at first what to do with it. That'll do. Catley in the corner.
And we talk about the beautiful game that both these sides can put together, but those last two attacks, direct service over the top, they're just trying to feel each other out. Morgan has been on time and time again.
Coming up at halftime, we will have a special guest in the booth, U.S. Women's National Team head coach Jill Ellis. Maybe we'll get her thoughts on this first half, as well as those last couple of friendlies that the U.S. did so well in against New Zealand.
Maybe we should ask her what changes she would make to push for a result for Orlando.
Just giving her a little heads up in here so she's ready. Both teams have had some opportunities. Orlando has had more of the possession, no question, in this first half, and more of the shots. Grasso tries to keep it going for Sykes, who's in. Sykes! Harris got a leg to it, and then it is saved. Monica keeping the score at 0.
And right on cue, Jen, it doesn't matter if you're possessing more, if you're creating more chances. If you're not finding the back of the net, Orlando could have found themselves down 1-0.
Goal-saving moment for sure there from Monica. Will it be game-saving? Wait to see. Still no score between these two teams. Menges has Klingenberg. The ball across. Rasso tried her best to get up for it, but a little too high. And sometimes little moments like that can wake a team up either one way or the other, either defensively or offensively, light a fire under this Portland team.
I think from the reaction we saw from Ashlyn Harris, it might light a fire under Orlando to be tighter.
Both of these teams come in having scored in their last 10 matches. Alex Morgan running at that back line, touches it out to a Bogagu, who might have been just a step late coming in for it.
It's a good little seam for Morgan to sit in that half space between the back line and the mids, but default over hit that. Get that to Bogagu so she has time to whip it in.
Catley to take the throw for Orlando. Under 4 minutes to play, plus stoppage time in this first half. Morgan trying to get back on side. And then the Pride will pass around, give her the opportunity to do that. Catley now to Morgan, right at that end line. And in fact, out of bounds. No, offside, excuse me, offside for Morgan.
But here's a look, Jen, at that previous attack by Portland. Against the run of play, you could say, just too easy by Sykes. She walks in off that 1-2. Someone's got to get stuck in, but Ashlyn Harris with a big save just to get something on that and allow Monica time to recover and make that goal line save.
No question. Orlando defense, maybe a bit lucky, but certainly some skill there from Harris to even, as you said, give Monica the chance.
Yeah, but they just let Sykes walk in. You've got to body her up. You've got to throw a tackle.
Ball touch back to French. Edmonds refused to let Nadim go anywhere with that ball. Rasso just pestering that back line a little bit, put him under some pressure. Marta wanting to get it out to Abogugu. Catley looking for Morgan. Nadim, who had Edmonds all over her back the moment she tried to come for the ball. Marta leaves it for Weatherholt. Now Abogugu gets it. Abogugu couldn't get it through a host of Portland defenders. Pride still on the attack. Chance for a counter here for Portland if Nadim can get some help.
But she tries to force the issue there. Again, you just have to have situational awareness. You've been chasing defensively for Portland. You've got to hold the ball. But I'm impressed with Orlando and their patience right now. They're just moving the ball, spraying around the park, shifting this Portland defense, waiting for things to open up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated that
at some point, you've got to go up tempo, though, and take someone on, beat the lines, whether it be Marta sitting in that seam there. Now you can create those overloads.
2 minutes of stoppage time added on to this first half, as it'll be another Orlando throw. Kat Reynolds making her 9th straight start, was out at the beginning of the season due to injury.
Talked to so many people around the league. She's one of the hardest defenders 1v1.
Marta. No time for Morgan. Shot from Kennedy, who's been there a couple of times, Allie, just waiting for that ball to pop out from the front line.
She gets a couple quality strikes, or at least she had a couple in the first half. But I still think once you get in and around that 18, Orlando could be a bit more patient and try to break them down. Get around the edges. It's tight. And sometimes that forces you to take those outside of the box shots. That's what Portland wants.
Klingenberg bending that one back with her left foot. Perhaps one last opportunity of the half for Portland. And towards Sinclair. Long trying to win it, but it'll be an Orlando ball. A little high with the boot.
I think Orlando's lucky there. If it was Catley or who won that ball, they headed it right back down centrally.
So no score after our first 45 minutes with so much on the line, especially for Marta and the Orlando Pride. Now let's hear what Orlando head coach Tom Sermani has to say about it all. He's with Dallin.
Thanks, Jen. Tom, you talked about it this week. This is, you guys control your own playoff opportunity. Win and you're in. How do you think your team played in the first 45 minutes?
Well, I thought certainly for the first 30 minutes, I was really pleased with how we played. Our ball movement was good. I thought we got into a lot of good potential positions to score, but Portland are very good defensively. So what we need to do is just get an opportunity when we're on top and take that opportunity.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. After the break, we have a very special guest joining us. Allie and Jen will have a great interview. Don't go anywhere. We're back here on Lifetime in just a minute.